Hey, welcome to Greg Fitzsimmons' show. It's called Fitzdog Radio, and it comes to you at exactly the time you hit play. That's the beauty of podcasting, isn't it? It's just available anytime. It's not like the old days when I was a kid, sitting around the old radio, waiting to hear whether or not the Great Depression was over or not. What a weekend for sports. Holy shit. We had Wimbledon finals. We had NBA finals. We had a big golf tournament. Not big, but a golf tournament. We had the, whatever the Latin American soccer finals was, whatever the European whatever soccer finals was. And then on top of it, let's throw a fucking huge MMA fight on Saturday night in the middle of it. Damn. I watched the MMA only because my friend had got the subscription, whatever the pay-per-view thing was for it. And he didn't get his money's worth. Fight did not last very long. Old Poirier got him again. Poirier? Yeah. I'm not a big MMA guy. I like McGregor. I like his character. I like the fact that he's getting more of a hard time for bad-mouthing this guy Poirier's girlfriend or saying that she's been flirting with him on social media. That is scandalous. Scandalous. Not as scandalous as a man hitting another man in the nose with his elbow and then kicking him in the face. Like, if it was up to me, you know what? Call my wife a whore all fucking day to her face in front of me. Just don't do one of those flying kicks to the side of my leg where I collapse into a ball of tears. I mean, this sport is fucking barbaric, and that's what the fans are going to zero in on. Oh, he said something mean about his girlfriend. Shut up. Jesus Christ. Do you see what these guys do to each other? A guy will kick a guy in the teeth, and as he's falling down, he'll hit him 3 more times. Oh, but don't say his girlfriend followed him on social media. That's inappropriate. Come on. You could dry hump my wife in the TV room in front of my whole family. Just don't fucking hit me, Connor. Oh, where's the manners? Where's the manners in mixed martial arts fighting? Anyway, I love it. I love Connor stirring it up. Takes a good Irishman to get in there and fucking talk some shit. We need more of that. I mean, people love WWE. Combine WWE with MMA. That's what men want. We want chairs thrown. We want fucking managers. We want posses fighting in the ring after the fight, during the fight. Come on. Give us what we want. If you're shelling out how much? Fucking $90 for a pay-per-view? Don't play by the rules. Make it bigger than the sport. Have stand-up comedy. You've got Joe Rogan. You got a stand-up comedian calling it. That's a step in the right direction. You're getting some other entertainment involved. But I want more. You got the sex. You got the cue card girls. They're not topless yet, are they? Topless. I want dog fights as the warm-up matches before the title card. I want fucking pit bulls and Rottweilers fighting in the same ring. So there's dog blood staining the mat before the men get out there. That's right. And I want their girlfriends or their wives sitting ringside, and the winner gets to go up to the loser's girlfriend and kiss her right on the mouth with his bloody mouth. Let's put some stakes on it. No more of this, you get $1 million. No, your wife gets kissed on the mouth by Conor McGregor if you lose. Now you'll fucking train. Now you'll watch a guy train like what's his name? Who's the little Filipino guy? Yeah. I don't know anything about fighting. It bores me. I like street fights. I like to watch them on YouTube. I don't know the last time I've been in a fight. It's been a while. I think I'm due. I think I'm ready to punch somebody in the face again. I was just thinking about, like, I'm going camping this weekend. I almost got in a fight camping with my kids. This was a lot of years ago. This was probably 10 years ago. Maybe more. Yeah, probably 10 years ago. And we went to this, it was like a family trip with some other families from the school. And there's this guy that I didn't really know. And I guess my son took his daughter's hiking stick. And my son was with his friend Gus. And a guy got a hold of my son. And my son was about fucking 8. And he grabbed him. And he started screaming in his face what he was going to do. I don't remember what he said, but he threatened him physically. And my son was hysterical, crying his eye. My son was never a big crier, but this guy was pretty big. And he was, so anyway, so I found that my son came back to our tent and I found out what happened. And I walked over to this guy's tent and I walked up and I fucking slammed him in the chest, pushed him back, and I explained to him how his day was going to go. I said, you're going to pack your fucking tent, you're going to get your little daughter, and you're going to get the fuck out of here. And I was so angry. The thing about me is I'm not that big. When I'm angry, people get intimidated by it. And he fucking started packing. This dude started packing his tent, pulling the stakes up, taking the coals out of the grill, cooling it down. Now, I don't know if there was a grill, but he started packing up. And then my wife felt really bad that I was doing this. And so she made me go over and tell him he could stay. And I felt very powerful at that time. And he stayed. And then that night we all went out for an ice cream. We went into town and got an ice cream. And I bought his daughter an ice cream. Then I told my son to fucking take it, and he did. And then I just stared the guy down. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, so camping this weekend with the wife. Got to get prepared. I got to buy some propane for the tank. Maybe a fistful of mushrooms. That's not a bad idea. We're going up to Morro Bay, which is south of San Francisco, about an hour. And it's beautiful. It's got the biggest monolith, I think it's called, which is the largest rock in the Western Hemisphere, is just off the coast. It's cold water. You don't generally swim up there, but I will. I like cold water. We're going to camp for like 3 or 4 nights, just me and the wife. I don't think the kids are coming. We invited them. They'd rather stay home, I guess, throw a party or something, trash our house. But I'm looking forward to just me and the wife spending some time, enjoying each other. Yeah, that's how that is. It's good. All right, I'm in a good place, and I'll tell you why. Part of why, and this is no shit. I'm not jacking this up for the sake of a sponsor, but I got some help through BetterHelp.com, which is a sponsor of the show. We're sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy, and they are a very affordable, very high quality experience. If you're having a hard time maybe readjusting to the end of the quarantine, maybe you're having some relationship stuff, you're feeling withdrawn, depressed, whatever it is. I was feeling a lot of stuff during the pandemic, and I got in touch with somebody over there named Sarah. I'm not going to say her last name. And she is, and I've had a number of therapists in my life. She's as good as anybody I've ever had. And part of it is they do a survey when you go to their online forum and you fill in some stuff about yourself, what you're looking for, what your issues might be, and they hand select somebody who has the criteria that match yours, that has the skill set. And then they hook you up. And if it doesn't work out, boom, you switch. You ask for somebody else, they give you somebody else, no extra charge. It's an amazing system, and it starts within 48 hours of you filling out the form. You'll get an expert therapist, and they will message you. I don't just talk to her once a week. I send her text messages. She sends me worksheets. It's like an ongoing communication, and that's not extra. That's just part of it. So if you have extreme financial need, they will also talk to you and they'll make it even cheaper than it already is. But I'll tell you what, they are a great company, and I highly recommend them. So get involved now if you can always feel better. And what are you going to spend your money on that will bring you more happiness than talking to a professional about some thoughts that are racing through your fucking head and how you can calm them down and redirect them and start to think more clearly. So anyway, our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Fitzdog. That's betterhelp.com/Fitzdog for 10% off your first month. Do it. Get involved. Okay. Let's do some mail, shall we? Greg Johnson says, hi, Greg. Greg here. People love doing that, don't they? Found you on JRE and have been listening to your podcast of late. Really admire how you inject such kindness and compassion into your unflinching, hilarious, savage comedy. Okay, well, that's very nice. He said, I have to write to you because I'm noticing more and more things that we have in common. Both named Greg. Both have depression. I, too, tapered off meds over a period of years. Married with 2 kids. Older boy, younger girl. Had them when I was 33 and 36. Wow, this is all dead on so far. Younger one is named Josephine. Yes, we call her JoJo too. And a brilliant, funny, wild child. My son's name isn't Owen, but my oldest nephew's is. Oh, and the wife is a redheaded Irish Catholic, even though I'm not. So he says he lives up in Vancouver. And he can't wait till the borders open up. He can come see me live. Well, Greg, it's pretty amazing. I hope I work Vancouver. I hope we get a chance to meet each other. And, you know, I guess the Irish GNA, is he not Irish? Oh, he's Catholic. He must be Irish. Johnson? That might be British. But, you know, the Emerald Isles, the Emerald Isle, the British Isles, very thin gene pool. A lot of similarities. I want to see a picture, Greg. Send me a photo of me and send me a photo of your wife, too, while you're at it, huh? This one comes from, this is nicknames. Let's do some nicknames. Did I ever come up with I don't think I ever branded this segment. But Scott Merritt says, heard you discussing nicknames today. As a teen, friends nicknamed me Cobweb because I exclusively dated much older, 10 years plus older women. I even have an autograph from Bob Seger made out to Cobweb, and he sent the photo, and it is indeed signed by Bob Seger. That's pretty sweet. Cobweb. I was a cobwebber. I dated older women. When I was 19, I spent the summer in the Hamptons, and I dated a woman who we celebrated her 40th birthday with tequila shots at tequila, and the bar was called Tequila Somethings on Montauk Highway. And we had an affair all summer. I've probably talked about it on the show. She's a wonderful woman. Still in touch with her once in a while. She's old now. Jesus Christ. She is, well, if she's 20 years older than me, she's 75. I can't believe that I had sex with a woman who's currently 75 years old. That's weird. That's existential. All right, then this other guy, oh no, this is from Michelle. Michelle says, within my group of friends in high school was a guy named Rich. Great guy who had a terrible cystic acne problem. Major facial zits. So when anyone was irked or upset by him, he was Zitch instead of Rich. Oof. That's really mean, but kind of hilarious at the same time. Another friend named Kenny, he was really skinny. So a lot of times his name was, guess it, everybody? Skinny. Get it? Well, Michelle, it sounds like you had a really nice teen life, destroying the fragile egos of other teenagers who were less attractive than you, who were thinner than you. I hope your life turned out just as you thought it would. Don't forget, by the way, people, the Grapefruit Simmons, which is my nickname, T-shirts are available. I'm wearing one now, as you can see. They are well-crafted. It's a high-quality T-shirt. It's available. Go to Fitzdog.com. Get one today. We got them in all sizes. And also, I got some tour dates coming up. I will be at Bananas in Rutherford, New Jersey on August 6th and 7th. I will also be at the Punchline in I'll be at Buffalo Rose in Golden, Colorado, just outside of Denver, August 26th through the 28th. And then I'll be at the Sacramento Punchline September 16th through 18th. During that weekend, Mike Gibbons is going to come up, and we are going to do a Sunday Papers taping, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out the other podcast, Sunday Papers, it comes out on Sundays. And Childish, my podcast with Allison Rosen, comes out on Wednesdays. Okay. All right, let's get to it. My guest has so many credits. He's one of those guys, I don't think he needs an introduction. But check out Shakes the Clown if you ever get a chance. I think it was his directorial debut. This is a guy who is a national treasure. Bobcat is one of those guys just everybody knows, not everybody loves. He's controversial. He puts it out there. He pokes the hive quite a bit. And I happen to think he's one of the best and one of my favorite guests. So he's on the show. We talked last week. We had a lot of fun. And here's my interview with Bobcat Goldthwait. Bobcat Goldthwait is my guest. He's one of my favorite people in the world. He's one of yours. Bobcat is a national treasure. He is a guy who has written and directed. He's done stand-up. He's been thanked. I like to go to IMDb and see who thanked you.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the categories.
Who thanked me?
Beth Stelling thanked you on her special this year.
Oh, well, she's awesome. Yeah. And just before she went on, I sent her a text. I was like, look, man, you did all the work. It's all done. The show's it's as if it's in the can. Now just go out and have fun, which I like to tell people when I direct specials. Like usually I even if the first show tanks, I just go, man, that was amazing. Now just go have fun. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, God, I hope this one works. So I think I'm a really honest person, but as a director, I'm such a liar. Right. Such a liar. Like right. I did my own show, Misfits and Monsters, right? And do you know this story? I was with Tony V was playing who's Neptune. And so Bridget Everett's a mermaid. And we're filming in Weeki Wachee, Florida. This is a horrible story.
Weeki Wachee, Florida?
Yeah, where the mermaid show is. Been going on for like 50 years. And man, this story is like, I'm such an asshole in the story. Every time I tell it, no one thinks it's funny. They all go, wow, you're an asshole. So, so Tony's in the water and Bridget, the mermaid, is on a date in a wheelchair. And all of a sudden you just hear, hello, whore. And it's Tony painted blue, just as Neptune. And so he's standing in the water. So, and then there's an underwater fight that breaks out. So I get there and there's these signs that say warning alligators. And I go, hey man, can you take those signs down before we start filming? And so the next day, and manatees kept floating in and screwing up the shots. Like, what are we waiting on? There's a manatee blocking the light. So the next morning, Tony and Bridget are in makeup and they go, yeah, you know that manatees are endangered. And they go, well, you know why they're endangered? Oh, because the alligators. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Funny that you bring that up. And so So every time like we would film, I go cut, and then I'd walk down to the shore and I'd look for alligators, and I go, okay, let's go again. And then as we're walking out there, it's like 4 a.m. and the prop guy's got he's got a stack of the warning alligator signs, and I was like, night, boss. Yeah, night. And he's putting them back up. So I will do anything to get a shot. I'm such a horrible person. But the rest of my life, I'm so honest, but then when you get in that mode, it's like whatever it's going to take to get this done.
Well, when in Florida, play by Florida rules. We do. Do you ever go to the website or the Twitter feed for Florida Man?
No.
It's like every article that begins with Florida Man, like
Sure.
Florida Man gets naked and steals ATM from 7-Eleven at noon on a Friday. And it's like, and the reason why, and people defend Florida and they say we're getting a bad name because they have a Freedom of Information Act there that most states don't have. So any crime that happens in Florida,
you can look
has
up.
has to be put out and can be looked up.
Wow. Okay. So but also, let's face it, it's Florida too.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida's horrible. I mean,
well, it's horrible, but it's sort of like it's at the bottom for a reason. It's like you shook the country and then all the shit just kind of collapsed. It's all the people they're deadbeat dads. They're running from the law.
Yeah. They're going to start fresh because the taxes, and they've declared bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And then like any major city in Florida, if you go 20 miles or less, and it's Hazard County, it's not the melting pot. It's Tony and I were driving through the Panhandle, and there's all this Spanish moss, and then it says Swamp Cabbage Festival. We didn't stick around for Swamp Cabbage. It was like 1,000 maniacs when we stopped at the gas station. They're all just looking at us,
Yeah, which means there was a Miss Swamp Cabbage 2014. Sure. Yeah.
Well, there's the Miss Bigfoot pageant. In Oregon at one of the Sasquatch conventions,
really?
Which was postponed last year. Yeah, I gotta go. I love going to the I've gone to a handful of the conferences. Yeah, and I love them because like most Bigfoot people believe that Bigfoot has a flat head, that the pointy-headed Bigfoot is some bullshit started by Spielberg with Harry and the Hendersons. They don't like that movie. Well, they like that he's sweet and benign, but they don't like that his head's misshapen. So I'm at the Bigfoot conference, and there's this guy, and he's got a pointy-headed cardboard cutout of a Bigfoot, and this other guy walks up, and he looks at the cardboard cutout, and he goes, "You disgust me." And the guy goes, what did I do? He goes, look at his head. And then they get into a beef, and then I hear, yeah, well, I've seen Bigfoot 3 times, and you're never going to see him because you smoke. Which Bigfoot
is afraid of smoke, of course.
Tobacco intolerant, but the first people, the indigenous people, used to offer him tobacco. So I don't know. I'm like, right. So then before the keynote speaker, this guy goes up, and there's about 150 people in this room. And this guy starts talking about UFOs, and at least a third of the room went, like, who invited this idiot? Oh, spaceman. Ooh.
Yeah, right. We're flat headers. We're not flat earthers.
Yeah. I think it's kind of the world has gotten so insane that like the UFO story broke, and nobody batted an eye. The government says, yeah, there's UFOs, and we go, yeah, that tracks,
Yeah.
But the government just kind of went back on that. They said all they said was that there was 143 unidentified aerial phenomenon. They said, we don't know what it is. And this one scientist was like going, well, if it was UFOs, this was just like a couple of days ago. He's like, well, if there's UFOs, they would have reached out to us. And I'm like, no, if they were, you know what I mean? Like they would have looked down and said, no, man, it's like going by like a sketchy rest stop on the highway, and you go, no, you know what? I'll hold it.
Right.
Like, do you want to get out and talk to these people? It's like, no, I'm cool. I think I'll pee when we get to Mars. This is
we're basically we're the Swamp Cabbage Festival of the universe.
Yeah. It's now. Do you know I moved? Did you know that?
No. Where do you live?
I live in Winfield, Illinois. It's about an hour and 10 miles. Hour and 10 minutes from like Chicago proper. But I live on the end of a dead end street. There's 8,000 people in this town. I live in the woods. I couldn't be happier. I lived in LA for 35 years, and then I moved here. My girlfriend Nora and I in January.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a good thing to do in a pandemic.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, snow. And it's like, first of all, I'm from Syracuse. This is nothing. Yeah. And also it's like, that's a really bad move. Moving to where moisture falls out of the sky. That's something you want to avoid in this day and age. So, I love it.
Well, you're not alone. I mean, a lot of people have left LA in the last year, and it's not just because of the I think the pandemic was a catalyst, but I think a lot of people were ready to move anyway. They just were kind of looking for a reason. So why did you choose this town?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. There's my girlfriend's family lives like 15, 20 minutes from us. But the other thing is like, this, when you go to do a gig, you fly into Chicago or
Dallas.
Right. So I'm halfway to most gigs.
Yeah.
I like being out in the woods. I go out. I got like it's like a little under 2 acres, but the end is all wood that's never been taken care of. So I go out and I chop down my the widow makers.
Wow.
Everybody's like going. Tom Kenny's like, this is a horrible idea. You with an axe and a chainsaw. I take meetings and I'm just sitting there going, I hope this dildo wraps it up, man. I got to get out there and chop some more wood today. Can't do anything in moderation. I've got. I think it's about 40 feet long. It's about 4.5 feet wide of wood.
Yeah.
But people are worried that I'm like, there's so many trees here. I'm getting rid of all the dead stuff. I mean, I'm not Mr. T chainsawing down, and the neighbors are going to be upset.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
But you know what? I really love musicals. I bought Liza Minnelli. Bob Fosse is one of my favorite directors. So I bought this Cabaret poster, and I put the wrong address, and it went to. There's only 2 streets in downtown Winfield, and it went to the only construction company. My Liza Minnelli poster. And on the front door, it says, "We support the troops and the men and women who fight for our freedom." That's on the front door. And I walk in, I go, "Hey, I think I had a package that," they go, "Yeah, we opened it. It's over there." And there's Liza Minnelli on this plywood table. And they wouldn't make eye contact. They're like, we opened it. It's over there. Whatever you show people do, that's fine. That's your business.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, and then it's funny because then I've never. It's a big house. I've got, I got Barry Crimmins haunting me there.
Nice.
But I've never had posters of the movies I've made.
Because you didn't have the wall space.
Yeah, and it's also a little uncomfortable. I don't know. So I went and I didn't have a Shakes the Clown poster. Uh-huh. I bought a Shakes the Clown poster online. And
what are those going for online these days?
It was $45. Uh-huh. And I go to get it framed, and then I look at it and I see I bought an autographed poster. I bought my own autograph online. This guy had to think I'm an idiot. So then I go to Nora, my girlfriend. I'm like, that's gotta go in the closet. She's like, oh, that's going on the wall. Are you kidding me? And then I even remember the autograph. It's even worse because those guys. There's folks that come up and someone wants your photo. That's flattering, or they want an autograph. But those the eBay guys and they show up with a stack of stuff for you to sign.
Right.
So I remember the guy. It was in the back of Largo. And I had an ass full of signing all the stuff for him that I knew he was going to sell. And I wrote on it, "Kill me, Bobcat Goldthwait." So I have the "Kill me, Bobcat" poster. It's over there. I don't know.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, so "Kill me, Bobcat Goldthwait."
Wow. So then if you say you direct an episode of a show in LA, where are you going to stay? You just say you got to put me in a hotel?
I was just in LA. You know, my daughter is a costume designer. She lives out there.
Oh, that's right.
But it's funny. I moved here and then she got a job like a few weeks later on Joe Pera's show, doing the costumes for this season, and they shoot in Milwaukee. So
oh, cool.
I saw her for like 4 months. You know what was funny? I don't know if I should let this out. This is an exclusive. In order to visit her on the set, I because of the pandemic, the only way, there's no guests. So I did all the paperwork and testing, and I was a background extra.
Ah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm in the scene, which I kind of wish I hope I booked like a talk show so I could show, I'm in the new season of Joe Pera, you know, and you just see me soft focus eating in the background. And that's going to go on your IMDb page too. It should go on it. Yeah. It made me go, wouldn't this be fun just to keep doing that?
Fuck like, yeah, man.
It'd be so funny just to show in millions of movies. Just,
yeah.
You know. But I was like, you know, like they would do multiple takes and, you know, and I'm 50 feet from the camera and I'm yelling out like, how was I? How did I do? And the women that are at the table with me, they don't know who I am or anything.
They don't have the posters, no.
No, they don't. And they're going, Bob, you're going to get us in trouble, Bob. Bob, don't. I also love show business because this woman, she was probably 70 and she's like, she goes, if the camera is back there, how do they see? And so she learned to cheat her face out and go like this. It's
she
like,
did.
We're all evil. We're all horrible.
Well, that show, Ricky Gervais's show Extras, is like one of the most underrated sitcoms in history. Have you seen it?
Oh, the hour special, the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Just makes me sob. That's like one of the I'm sure it was actually possibly a little bit of the catalyst of this movie I did, God Bless America, because, you know, he's basically asking, you know, what have we become, you know, at the end of that. And God Bless America was a lot of that. Like I kind of, it's not a perfect movie, it's certainly flawed, but that was my big question. Like, where are we going, you know? And it's funny. I went back and I saw a clip or two from it, and it's, you know, this is, I don't know how many years ago I made it, but he's already on, the character's on this big rant about people that feel persecuted because of cancel culture before we called cancel culture. And, you know, and he's like saying, you know, you're not edgy. You're actually, you know, you're pandering to the status quo.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're not really, it's not the edge. You know, people get so confused that, you know, it's not Lenny Bruce. You know, Lenny Bruce really did get canceled. You know, you know, I don't think many people really get canceled. I mean, God damn it, you know, Cosby's free. What the?
Yeah, right.
You know, I was ego surfing and, you know, looking up my name. And there's an interview with Patton, and he goes, Bobcat Goldthwait's been saying Bill Cosby's a rapist on stage for 20 years. And I had, but I didn't know it was true.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really funny to say horrible things about America.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yeah. Because
had you heard the rumors?
Yeah, I'd heard some stuff that was inappropriate. Yeah. So in fact, I was going to call my album Bill Cosby's Hookers. And then the label's like, no, you can't do that.
Oh, that was when it was just a rumor you were going to call it that?
Yeah. Well, then I said, how about Bill Cosby's drug dealing? They go, no. They go, it doesn't matter.
I did a thing for a minute where I started going on stage and I said, I would say, you know, there's nothing you can do to a comedian that's worse than stealing his material. And Bill Cosby is such a fucking monster. I'm trying to think, how can I hurt him? And so then I launched into his bit about the dentist. And I did like 3 of his bits word for word.
Brilliant.
And then I put it online, and all of a sudden I got interviewed by The Guardian.
Wow.
I got interviewed, like all these major outlets were like covering the story. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to be this guy.
But yeah, that's the thing too. It's like, do you want to be the person that gets known for X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
But then it's also kind of, then you'd have to go keep doing other stuff like that. But yeah. I once wanted to do a premise where I just like would go on a talk show and just do like one signature joke from every comedian. Yeah. Like famous, not famous, and just watch the comedy community implode. They would, you know, because they wouldn't get it. They would be like, that guy, you know, it's like, I'd be up there going, I don't get any respect, you know, and just do a chunk of everybody's.
Yeah. What's the deal with the rubber stick at the cash register?
And just do it like word for word. And because comedians have absolutely no sense of humor. So it would have been really fun to watch them lose their minds.
That's a great idea. They did a show in New York for a little while. Jim Brewer used to do it. And you go down and you do a bit that you love of another comedian. So it was like karaoke. And I did a Steve Martin bit called What I Believe. You ever listen to the Steve Martin album called The Steve Martin Brothers?
Yeah. And then was it
it's
like
banjo music on one side, and then it's these very conceptual bits on the other side. And he had a bit called What I Believe. And then there's this like Americana cornball music playing.
Yeah,
and he goes,
I do remember that.
I believe in I believe in, oh God, what was it? I believe in 7 out of the 10 commandments. I believe that you should put a woman up on a pedestal high enough that you can see up her dress.
Yeah, I do. I guess that is weird. There's a lot of things with comedy that's weird. I mean, it's good that we don't cover each other's bits, but this idea that like, you know, like, oh, I'm some person. I've never heard of Bill Hicks. That night I get on YouTube and I stream everything the guy did.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. Do you know what I mean? So with that mentality, the best comedians are the ones that are constantly churning out new material. So with that idea, there really would never be a who's on first, because these bits and acts and things that had to be polished would be jettisoned. You know, people would say, Evan Costello, you know, they're horrible. I've seen him do that who's on first twice.
Yeah, right. I know.
So I think it's like quantity now versus quality. Yeah,
people started getting in their heads that they should do one special a year, you know, because like Louie was doing it, and I think Chris Rock started doing that. It's like, you better have a funny fucking year. You better just be traveling, going to sideshows, on dating apps. You better just live your life.
Well, you know, like my free bird, my big closer is when I tell the story about this engine blowing up on a plane I was on, and a good portion of the Special Olympics team was on the flight. And I don't know if you ever heard me do it. It's this.
I think I would have remembered that. Yeah.
And I really like it, and the crowd likes it, and I like performing it. But I'm like, gosh, I wish some more near fatal things would happen to me. Yeah. You know, it's like, I wish more horribly weird things would happen to me because it became such a colossal bit. You know, sometimes I talk about painful stuff, and then other times I don't. You know, like sometimes I'll talk about my relationship with Robin Williams, but in a very general way, because I feel that he and I were so close because I didn't have a big mouth, you know?
Right.
But and then it feels dirty when something becomes a bit.
Right.
And it's funny, as I'm saying this, I just looked up at a picture of him. He was signing a stack of 8x10s, and he got tired of it, and it just says, "Greetings, fucker, Robin Williams, blow me." Like, no one wants to know that even more has shitty days, but he, you know, so, or they do, you know, I guess I am talking about it, but, you know, he had Lewy body dementia, which was misdiagnosed as Parkinson's. So, and he had multiple doctors. He had a family, extended family, people that loved him. He had management. He had, you know, people that worked with him, like Rebecca and Danny, and people like me. I mean, I would hear from him most days, and he's going to all these doctors. He's just processing reality horribly. And the few of us that knew that he had this Parkinson's thought he was being taken care of, you know? And I just only bring that up because I get really upset that, I mean, I know people die from depression and things, but I think people want to think about Robin like he was the sad clown that killed himself because of drugs or his career or something. But he just had this brain that was giving him really crazy information.
Right.
I don't know why I went down this.
Well, I just had Rick Overton on the show last week, and he talked about Robin a little bit and the improv that they used to do up in San Francisco. You must have been around when those guys were doing
that, right? They did it. Yeah, I mean, they would do it. It was funny, you know. He and I would sometimes do it, but I think I was a little, you know, I used to call him Mork so much that he eventually called himself Mork when we were talking. You know, I might have busted his balls a little too much, you know. But we would do shows together. Where he would go on first and then I would go on after him because he'd be like, you know, oh, life is wonderful, you know, and then I would come out and just be crying and screaming and just the direct opposite of that. But, you know, I feel dirty because sometimes I do have a story I tell now, which is true. It's like, I knew that he and I were close because I spent a lot of time with him bored, and I don't think people can wrap their brains around him being bored. But I think that the reasons we were close was because I wasn't really interested when he was on. I mean, of course I thought he was brilliant and stuff, but I just like being a friend. But he would often play Call of Duty for hours on end.
Oh, really?
I'd be like, bro, are you serious? Yeah, I came up to the Bay Area. This is what we're doing. Yeah. And then one day I asked him, because he's cursing up a storm. I go, how old are these people that you're playing? And he's like, I don't know, 12, 13, you know. So there's like adults now that when they were kids went, I think the genie from Aladdin called me a cocksucker. I'm pretty sure Mrs. Doubtfire said she was going to fist me.
And the guy from Shakes the Clown was laughing in the background.
Yeah. Well, it's I remember once we were at Disney World. I remember this guy shoving him out of the way because to get my autograph.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, man, you screwed the pooch. But I have it's funny. Like I have these hats. I have. It was funny. We were buying hats one day, and he's like, we're looking at these hats. I wish I had that on instead of this one, but it's a cowboy hat and it's got a muskrat skull and it's got all this kind of things on it. And, but we started and we're looking at hats like this. And I go, oh, you know what? You always pay for everything. Let me buy the hats. And then we just kept trying on more expensive hats. I didn't realize it cost me almost $2,000 for these goddamn hats.
Really?
Yeah. Me being a big shot. You know what? Let me pay.
Yeah, right.
Back when we were on the $75 hats, and then
Wow. So what are you doing? You're going on the road?
I'm doing dates.
Your bags?
Yeah, I'm doing dates. You know, I finished this travel tour documentary with Dana Gould. Him and I on the road, you know, we got in this car accident and I had a concussion and we broke ribs on each other, and I'd been filming it. And the thing about the pandemic is I was able to make a whole movie about our relationship and our relationship with comedy and our history. So it's not just stand up, you know. honestly, I don't care how brilliant someone is. There's always like 40 minutes into a stand-up show, there's this fatigue.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you watch this thing, it's like, it just starts with us on the road. And he goes, Dana's like, we didn't like each other when we met. And I'm like, no, that's not true. I hated you when we met. And Dana's like, yeah, I hated me too. So we had that in common.
That was in Boston?
Yeah. And so so we'll have an announcement soon. It's gonna be it'll be coming out, and there'll be a premiere and stuff. So it's called Joyride. That was the thing. And because of the pandemic, if I really was just clobbering it together and making it our stand-up, it would have been something else. But because I had so much time, it's like Dana is telling me the story of him doing the last Bob Hope special and having to do commercials. And I'm dying laughing as, because Bob's like going, this next guy, like he's just, and I go, I think I used to, in my act, I used to say, and then you see like from the early 80s, me, long hair, screaming.
Oh, no shit, really?
Yeah, and I'm going, when will Bob Hope die? And then it cuts back and I'm like, but I didn't have any jokes. And then Dana proceeds to talk about this commercial that goes totally awry. And they don't have the nerve to say, Bob, you're fucking up. So they go to Bob Hope. They go, Bob, we got to go again. There's you're chewing too many peanuts. He's like, peanuts? What peanuts? But Dana tells the story, and then we cut to the raw footage, and you actually see Bob going, peanuts,
No shit.
Yeah. So because of the amount of time, I was able to really, Dana and I, we were really able to dig deep, and there's so much footage that's really, some of the stuff I never had seen, like the PSA I shot when I set the Tonight Show on fire, which is so embarrassing because the PSA was, in my act, I would joke about it, but the real PSA was really embarrassing. It's like, hi, I'm Bobcat Goldthwait. I can switch back and forth, but if you're seriously injured in a fire, I just, it's so, I get shit chills just talking about it. And my first performance, the Burbank Fire Marshal didn't like, so I had to go back and refilm it. So like the Burbank Fire Marshal even wants to direct, Bobcat, you're giving me a 5 and I need an 8 at least. So you hear the stories, you see our relationship, you cut to the footage, and it just goes there. You see also bits being developed and how a joke comes about, Dana was visiting his mother with dementia, and he's like, we'll get 2 cars. And I'm like, no, I'm going. But I wasn't going to be cruel. I was going to support him, but I think he thought, and then we go and we have this whole thing, and then he ends up, it becomes 5 minutes, So it's, I think it's the really inside baseball of comedy. If you want to see,
that sounds amazing. I want to go on the road with you and shoot a special with you. That's what you're going to have to do from now on. You're going to have to just go on the road with whoever you're directing a special for.
But I like that idea because I, like I said, there's always that fatigue when you're watching a special. Sure. And this thing avoids it because it's as soon as it's about to go, there's a lot of stand up, but as soon as you're getting a little tired of that, it goes away. What's funny? I was thinking about this. I was in Bloomington last weekend, and I was like, the ego of a comedian is like, it's you have the self-loathing, but the drive is bigger than shame. And but the idea that you go to a comedy show and you look around, you go, you know what this club needs? Me up there and everybody looking at me.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I want a bunch of big guys standing in a circle around them. So if one of them talks, they're removed from the premises.
They get pummeled. And then you go back to real life, where you're just anonymous. And I guess I like that actually.
I do, and here's what I hate is this weekend a friend of mine came to town, and he's got a friend who is uber wealthy. He's a real estate guy, and he's got this mansion on the beach in Santa Monica. So we go there, and we're hanging out, and it's a dinner, and it's me and my wife and my friends, and then this other couple, And all of a sudden it became like, hey, so what's the funniest word? I go, what are you talking about? Well, what word is the funniest? And I'm just like, can I just eat? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And there was so much talk, and I could tell they didn't think I was being funny, and they were disappointed because my friend said, oh, my friend's going to come over for dinner. He's a comedian. And they were probably like, oh, great. We don't have to hire entertainment. This is going to be great. And I'm the opposite of that at a dinner party. I'd much rather ask somebody about themselves and listen than talk about myself.
And I mean, I'm sure there's phases of my life where I was the lampshade guy at a party.
Yeah, sure.
But now I end up, I was at a gathering, and I ended up, I ended up like with kids. I was the adult blowing bubbles, making bubbles, and then I was playing chutes and ladders, because children, you want to be listened to, and also they don't ask you about Steve Gutenberg.
Exactly.
They could give a rat's ass.
Right.
I was in police academy 30 years ago.
Right. I know I get so much energy when I hang out with kids. It's just so freeing. And like, as you know, from having kids, being around my son or daughter and their friends is like my favorite thing in the world. They just are like, it's yes and. It's like it's life is an improv to them. You're like, hey, you guys want to jump in the car and go to the meat packing factory down in South Central? They'll be like, sure, let's get a 6-pack. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's the greatest.
I think it's, I'm not like one of these people that's like, oh, children, they're our future and wonderful and stuff. But I don't know. I like the honest connection. Kids can be horrible, but it's a different kind of horrible. It's you can see through it. What I'm saying is I'm not about to pound out any kids at this late stage.
No, I like them at the age they're at. Like my son's 20 and my daughter's almost 18. She'll be 18 in 5 days. And I've loved this stage because there's a freedom to it. You don't feel like you have to teach them anything anymore. You really just start hanging out with them.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter and I, we like to go on vacations and do stuff together, which that would have sounded horrible to go camping with my parents, but we were, before the pandemic, and my stepson and my daughter, we went scuba diving. And this Navy SEAL, who, by the way, he was like ex-Navy SEAL, but he was just like, I'm not certified. He's like, all right, well, put this in your mouth and keep breathing. All right, basically, I was like, but so we're scuba diving, and he's like, oh, he's giving the sign that, they're pointing that, there's a turtle. He's giving all that, and then he's just giving all that, and we're just on this tour underwater. We saw it, and then he gives the sign for shark, right?
Shit.
And he points, and I'm still like on it's a tour. I swim over to the shark, and then I look behind me, and everybody's like 20, 30 feet behind me.
Yeah.
And I'm swimming towards the shark. Then the shark turned around, and I was like, hey. Like I didn't want to turn away from him because I don't want to get my eyes on him, but I'm just doing this weird spazzy.
Yeah.
And then we get out of the water, and the Navy SEAL guy goes, why did you swim towards the shark? And my daughter goes, my dad's been swimming towards the sharks his whole life.
Is that the name of your next special? Swimming towards the sharks?
No, that's a good idea. Thanks. Yeah. Because it's always been that. It's just like,
right.
I had an ex-wife that says, you don't know the difference between a good idea and a bad idea, but you treat them both with the same amount of enthusiasm. And that's true, because there's been so many times where I'm like going, well, I'm never going to have this potential, you know what I mean? It's like I repelled a nude during a Nirvana concert, You
what?
I repelled a nude from the roof of the Oakland Coliseum at a Nirvana concert at midnight because it was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
more, the idea was like, well, this is all lining up. I've got to do this. By the way, if you're going to repel a nude, give it a little tug. I've seen the photos.
Also, you're kind of leading with your asshole towards the crowd, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, my butt, because like, yeah, like I was 150 feet up, and Kurt looks up and he just sees my brown hole. He's like, my brown eye, and brown hole. But he's like, and he goes, "Hey, Oakland, how about a drum solo?" And I'm like holding my whole weight. And they were supposed to have my clothes behind an amp, and I get there, of course, they're not there. So I'm just walking around, kind of like, the noble warrior does not know he's naked in front of modern man, so I'm just nude on stage and bombs are going off. And didn't get a kiss. You don't get a kiss if you're the nude guy at midnight. No, nobody's kissing me. Happy New Year. People just it was like a little radius around me. Whoa, when you were walking through. Still don't have clothes on, huh? But those are the things. Like you go, well, I'm not. This all makes sense.
Yeah.
You're gonna let me,
right?
I'm gonna do it,
right? Right.
So many stories like that. A little less hilarious now. I think that thing where you go, what if I do this? What would happen? Now that I get to make movies and tell stories, I think that part of my energy of my brain is eaten up on that.
Right.
Like I go, well, can I pull off a rom-com with a tiny bit of bestiality? I don't know. Let's see. Or I did the most punk rock thing I think I could during the pandemic. I wrote a G-rated movie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was like, I have all these obligations and I am working on them, but I couldn't write things that were that dark. Everything,
right.
The world does feel so dark now. So I felt the most contrarian thing was to write a hopeful movie. So that's the last script I finished. So
is it animated?
No.
Oh, good.
It's kind of, it's kind of like A Miracle on 34th Street, but it's not Santa Claus. It's this guy. It's So that's the movie I finished. I'll see if I can go out and make it next.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's awesome. So what? With these tour dates you got coming up, you're going to the Comedy Connection in Rhode Island, which that club. One of the first clubs I've ever worked in my life. I mean,
really?
that club is 31 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And it is down in dirty Rhode Island. It's the best. It's like the first show, you go, hey, I got away with my life. They go, oh no, now we're bringing in the second show. Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's like Italian couples that it wasn't explained to them when they arrived at the club that there should be a certain pecking order on who talks during the show. You have to earn it. You have to prove to Italian people that you're the funniest person in the room, and then they'll stop being funny.
Yeah. I got into a beef with a bunch of firemen in that show who went into the bathroom and tore my picture off the wall. Because my 8x10 was over the toilet. Yeah.
Well, you should have torn off the fire inspector warning.
Well,
picture.
Foolishly, there's been times where I don't back down. I remember I was in Guam with Tony V. Tony goes to the bathroom, and this guy who I'd said hello to and talked to a few times, and I was talking to this woman, and he is a Marine, and he's like, oh, I get it. Pussy's more important than me. I was like, well, at this point, if a turd could speak, that would be more important than you. I remember I said this. And the guy's like, I make it so you can make a living. I make it so you can have a freedom of speech. And I can't remember what I said next, but Tony came back from the bar, and there's like a V formation pulling this guy off of me.
Oh, shit.
It was like a regular old Western kind of bar brawl breaking out.
Yeah.
Tony's like, I leave you for 3 minutes.
I can't even take a piss when you're on stage.
Yeah, it's just like a brawl. But yeah,
that's sort of what I love about stand-up is when it is, my impulse is the same thing. Let's find the point of conflict. Let's find the most exciting thing that's happening in this moment and throw some fire on it. And let's like fucking stir it up. And that's, you know, and that's what people love. That's why stand-up comedy is always going to be something that exists in a live form.
Yeah, because you don't know, but you know, and I'm not proud that I can deal with hecklers. Like I actually see red when I do get to that place.
Right.
I truly don't ever do that in my real life, only up there. And I don't even know what I'm saying, but I was tearing into this table full of women that had not shut up and they were asked to shut up. And I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just vomiting vile stuff on them. I don't, you know, and then I get back. Oh, and everyone starts clapping. And that's what kind of snaps me out of it because we're horrible. We're horrible. Like audiences love that kind of tension. Like a bar has never cleared out because someone has said, hey, there's two guys in the parking lot getting along. Let's go watch.
Yeah,
So I get done. I start doing my act, and this woman stands up, and she's sobbing. She was one of the women at the table, and she goes, "I'm not a whore. It's my birthday." and then she starts walking out, and I'm going, "Happy birthday," because the club actually dragged her out, and I was like, and everybody started singing "Happy Birthday" because, like I said, we are all horrible.
And by the way, there is no day that a woman is more of a whore than on her birthday. So I negate her statement.
Well, also, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't know why I thought I would shame her with that.
I did the Comedy Connection in Rhode Island. It's in East Providence. And a girl showed up. When I say a girl, a woman my age, and I'm 55. This was a couple years ago. And she showed up and she said to me, she's sitting up front and she keeps trying to interact. And then I go, so where are you from? She goes, you should know where I'm from. I go, why should I know where you're from? And she's like, because we had sex after one of your shows. And I've been married now I've been with my wife 25 years.
Right.
And so I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you did Uncle Buttfucks in East Warwick, Rhode Island back in 1989. And we had sex on the beach after the show. And she, you know, she had not aged well. And I was just like, I go, it's not going to happen again.
It's funny that you said it was on the beach because that ship has sailed. Yeah,
because we're all washed up.
I think it's funny, like people, you know, the aggressive, you know, the being online, you know, like I went to the Women's March is when I really first experienced it. And it's like, I go to the Women's March and on Instagram, which is the, you know, most vanilla form of social media. And there's I had all these death threats. And I was like, oh, because I was always like, who voted for Trump? And I was like, oh, Police Academy fans. They voted for Trump. They really loved him. They're like,
right.
Dear Officer's Dad, you let us down. So, but the thing that makes me laugh is the worst insult allegedly right now is saying, like, they'll go, unfollow. Like that's supposed to hurt my feelings. You know,
right.
I used to play small arenas, you know, millions of people have unfollowed me, you know.
Yeah.
You're really late to this. You're really late to this Todd Oakley wear for Life 7. You know, it's unfollow.
By the way, tickets are still available for my Late Show Friday in East Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how we get a big ego because we are constantly humbled.
Yeah.
You can have like these amazing achievements and then there's still Second Show Friday.
Yep. It's so great, though. It's so great to be humbled. It really is. Like, this past year, I didn't fucking work. You know, I mean, I was doing my podcast, but, like, no stand-up. I had no TV writing jobs. And now getting back into it again and things are starting to open up, I feel like a fucking loser because I've worked for 30 years And now I've internalized that I haven't worked this year, and I have to keep telling myself, well, nobody worked this year.
Yeah, nobody has. And you know, and the first show's back, the crowd has just got these gigantic grins. They're so happy.
Yeah, it's so great.
But I love that, like, and you're like, I actually bitched about this job, and this job is great.
Yeah.
And then the hecklers, which make me laugh. It's like, I haven't been a dick in anyone's ass for 15 months. This feels so good.
Yeah, right.
I've just been interrupting my kids while they're trying to do things.
Yeah, I haven't sold a DVD in a year. This feels fantastic. I'm Island Records again.
But I was surprised how much I really did enjoy just being up there.
Yeah. Are you talking about the pandemic in your act?
Yeah, of course. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, you know, my act has always been like, it's just like, it's kind of like I feel like a wedding band. You know, I get up there and I go, okay, I'll talk about the pandemic. It's like, oh, then I don't want to laugh at that yet. Well, I'll do Proud Mary. That ought to get them on the dance floor.
You're right.
You know, it's just always kind of so.
Yep.
So it's hard not to address the things, and then you end up coming up with your bits, but they were, you know, based on true stuff. You know, I've been sticking out my tongue with the mask on all the time because I just think it's funny. Someone's talking, I'm like, right. Swear to God, I go into Ace Hardware. Will you fill out this online survey? And the woman had already been kind of annoying earlier while I was trying to shop, and I was just like, and so I go, stick my tongue out, and then I realize you don't have a mask on, dummy. Swear to God, really. So then I just said, I'm gonna die on this beach. I just kept sticking my tongue out, acting like I had a stroke or something. I was like, well, I was just filling out my credit card.
Just commit. Just commit.
Yeah,
you're handicapped.
At that point, you know, I'm trying to think of the times where I was tongue-tied, and I met Elvis Costello, and I had nothing to say. I was a moron.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's uncomfortable. He's trying to keep the conversation going, and he's like, he goes, you have an album out, your face, it's all elongated on the cover. And I go, elongated. That was it. Like, that's all he got. And he's just like, and he's awkward, so he leaves.
Yeah.
Now, months later, it wasn't even months later, it was really actually like 3 or 4 weeks later, I was at a really fancy hotel in San Francisco, like the Ritz or something, and the elevator doors open. It's Elvis Costello and his wife, Diana Krall, and I just go, yes, and walk off the elevator. Don't even know what was the question. Yes.
Right.
Like what reminded me was just sell it. I go, yes. Wasn't even my floor. Just got off.
Yes.
Very,
it's positive energy. You're accepting. Yes. You're Elvis Costello. You're Diana Krall. Yes.
He's got to think I'm a complete moron.
Yeah.
You know? It's
better not to meet your heroes because they not always great. I actually, guess who I met and hung out with yesterday and had dinner with?
Who?
At the rich guy's house, Albert Brooks.
Oh my God.
I was like, he walked in and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And somebody had told him I was a comedian. He walks up to the table I'm sitting at and sits down for an hour and is asking me about, so what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. The most engaging, like, easy to be around guy that I've been around in a long time. It was such a thrill.
I've met him once or twice maybe and couldn't talk. That's funny you bring him up. That's like someone who's just like, you know, I was like, I totally did that to him.
Yeah, it was one of the few times that I met somebody like that I felt like I actually, I was interesting. I listened.
Oh, good.
Sometimes when you meet somebody who's that big, you start trying to justify your existence because you're so overwhelmed by how famous they are, and you try to go like, well, you know, I have a podcast, Albert. Like that means anything, you know? And
what's weird is that there's been people who I'm assuming most people. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going, wow, this is cool that I'm connecting with this person, but like there's some people that I wasn't tongue-tied around, that I became friends with. Like David Bowie was one of those people.
No shit, really?
Yeah, Bowie would come over to the rumpus room.
Damn.
And because I had all this musical equipment, and I'd be like, "No, you can't sing. You gotta play drums." And people were like, "Why did you make David Bowie play drums?" I go, "Because we've all heard him sing." Turns out he can play drums. But so I was friends with him. I got a call really late at night, back when you had phone machines, and he was kind of drunk, and he had seen this concert of mine, again, like where I'm wearing mascara and crying on stage and stuff, and it wasn't consumer, it was just someone that had a bootleg of this show, and he called up very enthusiastically but very drunk. Oh yeah, and my brother goes, some asshole called, said he was David Bowie, woke me up at 3 o'clock, and then the next day he called up very sober. He's like, hello, this is David Bowie, and I was like, oh hey, hi. So he gave me tickets to go see the Glass Spider tour, and I went with Tom Kenny, and then we go backstage, and he's like, what did you think? And I was like, well, it was like watching Guys and Dolls. He goes, what? I go, well, I thought it looked like Guys and Dolls. Tom thought it was more like Pippin. We just thought it looked like a big Broadway show. We're like, what the fuck is this? So just still the same snide fucking kids from when we were teenagers. And David Bowie looks at us, and you can see this thing, like this Rolodex in his mind trying to remember, like, what is this feeling I'm feeling? Oh, someone's making fun of me to my face. Yeah, I haven't had that in 35 years, And then he fell out, and then we became pals, and we would hang out.
Wow, that's insane.
We even talked about doing like a Martin and Lewis thing. But what's weird is that I was the one that chickened out, because he said he was talking about going into small theaters, and I was like, they're gonna kill me. Like if I'm gonna interrupt you while you're trying to sing, we got to be in like clubs. But now, after opening for Nirvana and stuff like that, I totally would have done it and thought it was funny to have the whole. I would have been the heel. The whole crowd would have been booing.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so
was he as cool as he appeared to be?
Yeah, he was a really big comedy fan, and it'd be funny. He's just a very smart guy who loved to discover stuff. So he'd be like reading Thomas Paine, but listening to weird German metal, and he I was once in the studio, and he tells me the story about the song All the Young Dudes. He goes, I'm driving in my car, or he was in a car, and he heard that Mata Hoople was breaking up, and he says to me, he goes, and I thought if I could write them a hit song, they would stay together. So I went home and I wrote All the Young Dudes, and they recorded it.
No shit.
And he tells me that story, and I go, so you just decided to write a hit song, and you wrote a hit song? He goes, yeah. Well, why don't you bust some of that shit out today? Because we were in the studio. I go, why don't you just do that magic thing now? And he's like, oh, and he's looking at all the controls. He goes, where's the commercial pop dial? Which dial do I push to make it more accessible? But yeah, so I love to laugh. And a big comedy fan,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I've had this weird Forrest Gump-like kind of thing. And it's interesting. Sometimes I start telling these stories, and I'm sure there's people like, it's just name dropping. But the other thing is like, this has been my life. You know?
Right.
I got on Letterman when I was 20. So, I mean, now I'm 59.
Yeah, right. Have you ever written a memoir?
No, I've been thinking about it, but my buddy David Pasquazi, I said, I think I might write an autobiography. Yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to spend more time in a room thinking about Bob. That would be great. But yeah, I think I will write one, because I've had all these experiences, and also different. I just kind of I've been through a lot, But it's like I was thinking about if I was writing a memoir, I wanted to call it like a colossal waste of your time, the Bobcat Goldthwait autobiography.
That's good. No, swimming towards the shark.
Swimming towards the sharks.
Yeah.
You're right. That is a better title.
So we got. So the Comedy Connection in Rhode Island is July 16th and 17th. Then you're going to go to Zanies in Rosemont, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago. That's probably pretty close to you, right?
Yeah, that's 40 minutes or less.
Is that going to be your home club? Like, is there a club you can go to work stuff out?
I've been going to the clubs in Chicago, and
oh yeah,
and they're like, oh, thanks for. I was like, do you guys have an open mic? And they're like, what? Because I didn't. I was serious. It was new to get up there, so I started. I hit the Lincoln Lodge. I hit. I've been going to all the clubs.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I get back and I go out into the woods.
I'm jealous, man. I think that must be really good for your soul to have that space after so many years in LA, to just not be surrounded by the industry and, with your girlfriend's family, because then you got a kind of a link into the community. You're not a total stranger.
No, but it's also like, I went through my first, it was my first tornado, which landed about 15 minutes from here and took out a bunch
And let me
of
guess,
homies.
you drove towards it.
Cow. But no, it's so much better than an earthquake. You get a thing on your phone that says tornado, and you go downstairs, and I get some snacks, and I gathered up Anderson Cooper and my cats, Anderson Cooper, Alice Cooper, and Tina Sparkle. But right on Robert Smith, my cat Robert Smith, he didn't go to the basement. He's just this moody, sulking cat with long hair, and it looks like he's got eyeliner on, and he hates me, and he hates everything. So Robert Smith was just like, he wouldn't go to the basement.
Did he call you a pussy when you were heading down there?
He's like, oh, you left? I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh, dude, last night, the craziest thing happened. Besides meeting Albert Brooks, we are driving home, and we get a text from somebody who says, we found your dog. From the number was on his collar, and they were on the beach in Venice. We live a mile from the beach. We left the house. The dog we leave him in the guest house in the back. We crack the door so he can go outside and pee, or she. And, the fence is tight. The dogs are outside all day, every day. They can't get out. And somehow, this little dog, who's fucking legally blind, who's completely deaf, walked a mile towards the beach on the 4th of July with fireworks going off.
Wow.
Crossed Abbot Kinney, crossed Venice Boulevard, and somehow got found. And we went and picked her up, and she was just like, hey, what's up?
They do say that during fireworks, that's what animals do. They escape.
Yeah.
Or this is like, or that dog doesn't like you. I don't know. She sounds like the David Blaine of canines.
That's right. Yes. We're going to change her name to Blaine. But no, it was so weird because we can't figure out how she got out, and we can't figure out how she could. You don't take her for a walk, you take her for a drag. She does not like to walk. I take her on these 4-block walks, and she's done.
Did you say blind and
deaf?
Wow.
Yeah.
So she's the pinball wizard.
Yeah. Maybe she was on acid last night. I don't know.
So other gigs. So Rosemont, Zanies, playing the Comedy Club of Kansas City, Missouri.
That's a fun club, by the way. I just played there. Really good place.
I never been there, but I kind of feeling that they were going to be a good room because they were like, they were kind of fishing me, asking me if I wanted to come. I was like, well, yeah, but that's nice. It's nice when the club wants you there, and you're not just like they're crunching numbers and
right.
And then Spokane Comedy Club. I'm just out on the road, and then Joyride. I'm sure Dana and I will be making an announcement soon about where you can see it and when it premieres.
Okay,
that's what I'm up to.
Dynamite. Bobcat, you are one of my favorite guests. You're one of my favorite people.
Wow, thanks.
I'll miss seeing you around here, but I might come to Chicago. My son's going to college in Chicago. He's at DePaul.
Well, come on out.
So I'll come on out. If I come visit him, we'll come out for a lunch.
Yeah. No, come on. What are you talking about? We're gonna chop wood?
Yes.
I got this fire pit that's out of control.
Amazing. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Thank you so much.
Good talking to you. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.